Welcome to Boomer Between the Games, presented by Xfinity. I'm your host, Boomer Esiason. Now, later on, we're going to take a look at Carson Wentz and his dominant performance against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But first, let me welcome in this week's guest, Mike Quick. And Mike's a former 5-time Pro Bowl wide receiver with the Philadelphia Eagles, and he also is now the lead broadcast analyst for the Eagles radio network. Mike, it's always great to talk to you, so let's get started. Carson Wentz and the Eagles dominate the Pittsburgh Steelers, beat them by 31 points. But for me, maybe even a bigger story coming out of Philadelphia, if it's possible, is the Philadelphia Eagle defense.
Oh, yeah. The story behind the story, actually, there are a couple. The offensive coordinator, Frank Reich, the head coach, and what they're doing with Carson. But the defense, probably the top-rated defense now in the league, led by Jim Schwartz, they are swarming. They're great in every phase of the game. They attack at the line of scrimmage, and the back end reflects and complements the front end. And it's fun to watch, Boomer.
It really is fun to watch. The thing about it is, last year under Chip Kelly, the defense spent a lot of time on the field because the offense went so quick, and when they went 3 and out, it was like they were only on the field for about a minute, and the defense spent a lot of time on the field. So with Carson Wentz being a positive force, the offense holding on to the football, now all of a sudden the defense isn't out there for 30 minutes a game, and to me now they are finally playing with the lead as opposed to playing from behind. And they with Jim Schwartz, he's a very aggressive defensive coordinator. Everything's up the field, up the field, up the field. And I would imagine covering them and talking to their defensive players, including Fletcher Cox, one of their great defensive linemen, they have got to be renewed. Their spirit has just got to be off the charts for them right now.
They love playing in this style of defense. This is not catching guys and dancing with big old guys. This is getting up the field, playing defense the way that they want to play defense, and he rotates those 4 guys up front, and that keeps them fresh. And all 3 of the games in the fourth quarter, they've been strong because of that front rotation with the 4 guys up front.
Now, let's talk about the Redskins and the Giants last week. The Giants missed a unique opportunity, a great opportunity if you ask me. They could have started the season 3-0. It was a mistake-filled game between both of these two teams. Kirk Cousins at the end of the first half, just an inexcusable mistake not to put points on the board right there inside the 20-yard line. But his performance overall, after all the whispers coming out of that locker room about his performance the first 2 weeks of the season, I got to believe make Jay Gruden feel a little bit more comfortable about their quarterback moving forward.
Well, I think that team is a train wreck, and you're right. They were inside the 20 4 times without getting points, but somehow Washington, or actually the Giants, made more mistakes than did the Redskins. I was surprised. Jamison Crowder there at the end of the game making a play. They lost D'Angelo Hall, the main guy in their secondary. I really can't see how they won the game, but they did.
Well, they won the game because the Giants made mistakes too. Stuart Cravens makes a big pick on Eli Manning at the end of the game. The interesting thing for the Giants, they move Monday night against Minnesota. That is not going to be easy. And for the Redskins, they get the Cleveland Browns, so they might be able to get back to 500, which would be saying something considering where they were 2 weeks ago. Time for our Twitter question of the week, presented by Xfinity. The bigger deal right now, the Giants' tight loss to the Redskins at home or the Steelers' blowout loss to the Eagles? Hashtag BoomerBTG. Which is the bigger deal in your eyes?
I think the bigger deal is the Giants losing. I think the Steelers will get back on track.
I would have to say the Philadelphia Eagles are the big story out of the 4 teams that played last weekend. And the reason I say that, nobody, and I mean nobody, expected the Eagles to be 3-0. Nobody expected the starting quarterback to be the rookie Carson Wentz, and nobody expected him to look more like Ben Roethlisberger in a game than Ben Roethlisberger did. Hey, if you have a question for us, tweet at us with hashtag BoomerBTG, and maybe we'll use your tweet on the show. So, all right, let's look ahead to our Week 4 matchups. The undefeated Patriots are going to host the reborn Bills. The Bills come off of a very big win at the hands of the Arizona Cardinals, something that Rex Ryan desperately needed to get his season back on track. And Rex being Rex, what does he do after the game is over? If Belichick's playing quarterback, we're coming after him too. I mean, I would not poke the bear. I would not tug on Superman's cape. I would not give the New England Patriots any more motivation to beat the Bills than they already have. And the interesting thing about the Patriots, it looks like Jimmy Garoppolo and also Jacoby Brissett, the backup quarterback to the backup quarterback, are practicing this week. So I would suspect that Garoppolo would get the start against this Buffalo Bills defense in New England?
You know, Rex is crazy, but he fires Greg Roman, and he gets back to running the football. They were the number one team rushing the ball last year, and that's how they won on Sunday. But still, you don't tug on Superman's cape, and you don't go to New England talking smack to the head coach in New England. Yeah, I got the Patriots in that game.
Can you believe that the Patriots are going to be 4-0 if they win? Can you believe that they've done this with the quarterback situation that they have, with a kind of a cameo appearance by Rob Gronkowski, an offensive line that is kind of like it's patched together? I mean, really what Bill Belichick and his coaching staff have done of nothing short of a miracle right now.
Well, it's because of Bill Belichick and his coaching staff. You know, I think, Boomer, you could come back and play quarterback for that team, and they would continue to win.
Well, that makes me feel pretty good. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Okay, the Steelers go to host the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. The Chiefs coming off of that, tremendous defensive performance at the hands of the New York Jets, in which Ryan Fitzpatrick threw 6 picks. I mean, I could talk days and days and days about some of those decisions, but the Steelers coming off of a very, very embarrassing loss to the Eagles.
Yep.
I would imagine that the Steelers, I believe this, that they'll show up Sunday night. They'll put forth a great performance. They will not be pushed around the way the Jets were pushed around. And the thing that I like most about what Ben Roethlisberger did on Sunday, because it wasn't the play on the field, it was the discussion after the game where he pointed the thumb at himself and he said, I got to get better. And he basically took it on himself to do that. And I would suspect with Le'Veon Bell coming back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they will be hard to handle for this Kansas City Chief team.
I completely agree. Getting Le'Veon Bell back is not only huge in the run game, but also in their passing attack. But the Chiefs have a blueprint now. They saw how the Eagles did it, and they saw how the offense attacked that Steelers defense. And the Eagles are similar to the Chiefs. The same coach, same coaching staff, having Doug Peterson run the offense for the Philadelphia Eagles. So this is going to be, to me, a real big matchup, a tough matchup to call this weekend, those two teams. I got to watch that game. I like that game.
What would concern me is about the health of the linebackers for the Steelers, because if they end up playing with the guys that they had on the field at the end of the Eagle game, they will be in trouble. The other game is the Ravens, an unlikely 3-0 team. They're going to take on the Raiders. This is the third trip to the East Coast for the Raiders. Think about this for a second, Mike. They played a home game against Atlanta in Week 2. In Week 1, they started in New Orleans. Then they had to go to Tennessee. And now they have to come all the way to Baltimore to play the Ravens. The Ravens offense, a little bit better last week, I thought. Still not great. The Ravens defense, however, is still, or I should say is reborn again to be one of the better defenses, top 10 defense without question. I think this is a tough spot for Derek Carr and the young Raiders.
Derek Carr is playing good football, but all of that traveling, that's a hard schedule, and whoever the schedule makers did not do them any favors at all. To me, this is a tough weekend for them. I do like the way he's playing, but going into Baltimore, I think they're going to have a tough time. Rashard Perriman, he's back now, and I think eventually this guy's going to show you why he was such a high draft pick.
Well, Perriman, Pitta, and Mike Wallace on the field against that Raider defense, although they played better in Tennessee last week against Marcus Mariota. This is a Super Bowl winning quarterback who's starting to get his legs back underneath him, and I think I like the Ravens at home. I like the Ravens actually to get the 4-0. I can't believe I'm saying that 4 weeks in the season, but I am. Mike, it's always great to talk to you. Good luck the rest of the way. I look forward to talking to you later on down the road. I'll be back next week with my take on the matchups and all the games with my featured guest, Chris Sims. Thanks for tuning in to Boomer Between the Games, presented by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV.